and welcome back to Houseofastralis. My name is Kayla, and today I will be your cosmic guide for this new moon in Sagittarius. To start off, as this is a general reading, please be at peace with anything that does not resonate and leave the rest behind. And I intend for this reading to be for your highest and best good and for you to hear the messages that you need to at this time. And if any of this reading resonates, I would love if you liked, commented, subscribed even, do all of that jazz, as this does help the channel grow. So with that being said, I do have a pretty short and simple tarot spread and then some oracle cards. Of course, I only intended one each, and then they decide, nah, I have more to say. But I will be first reading from this December workbook from Ritual Planner. Just a short little snippet about the Sagittarius New Moon. The new moon in Sagittarius rises on December 19th. Wild and wide-eyed, burning with potential. Sagittarius is mutable fire, elemental movement. Vision on the wind, truth in motion. It is the seeker, the storyteller, the archer, aiming not just for answers, but for meaning. This lunation arrives at 28 degrees Sagittarius, a degree charged with momentum and culmination, making its call feel both urgent and sacred. This is not a passive reset, it is a spiritual ignition. At the time of the new moon, Sagittarius hosts a fiery stellium. The sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, and the vertex all gather in this sign of expansion and experience. It is a rare and potent alignment, a movement when optimism, communication, desire, identity, and fate converge in a single sign. Sagittarius energy doesn't whisper, it proclaims, it inspires, it questions the map, then sets out to redraw it entirely. This lunation formed a tight square to both Neptune and Saturn in Pisces, creating tension between belief and boundary, dream and discipline. Sagittarius wants freedom, vision, and adventure. Pisces wants transcendence, surrender, and spiritual integration. But Saturn, also in Pisces, reminds us that dreams without structure collapse. Faith without foundation drifts into delusion. You may feel both inspired and overwhelmed, motivated yet unsure where the path actually begins. This is a moon of friction, but it's also productive if you let it be. Under the sky, clarity requires trust, not blind optimism, but faith that is chosen, faith that's been tested. This square challenges us to refine our beliefs, not just what we say we believe, but how we live it, how we embody it, and how we move with it through uncertainty. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, currently retrograde in Cancer, and while the moon doesn't aspect Jupiter directly, the rulership is still felt. There's a longing for home within the quest, a desire to protect the flame of meaning even when the world feels slippery. In the tarot, Sagittarius corresponds with Temperance, the card of integration, balance, and sacred timing. Temperance teaches that expansion doesn't have to be explosive. Spiritual growth happens not just in leaps, but in steady alignment. With so much fire in the sky, this card whispers, stay centered. Don't lose yourself chasing the horizon. You can be both grounded and lit from within. Ritually, the new moon invites intention setting around truth, vision, education, travel, and purpose. Journal about the beliefs you've outgrown, light a candle for the ones you want to claim, let yourself imagine a life that feels like a wholehearted yes. Just be mindful not to burn it all down out of restlessness. Squares ask us to pause, to adjust, to listen. This moon wants to move, but Saturn and Neptune remind us, movement without meaning is just motion. Choose the path that aligns with your soul, not just your mood. Another thing that I want to touch on very briefly is how it was saying this new moon invites us to set intention around truth, vision, education, travel, and purpose. That's because of Jupiter's rulership, but also look at where Sagittarius is in your chart and make intentions around that. This is the last new moon of the year, right before the new year, the calendar new year, and for me, this is in my 5th house, so creativity, romance, my inner child. So I will definitely be setting intentions around this as well. And about the truths that I have around my creativity. So food for thought there. And yeah, there's a lot going on in Sagittarius. This stellium and the square with Neptune and Saturn. Just a lot going on, but like I always advise, keep notes of what happens during this time and see if you can follow any patterns either now or in the future to come back to when something similar happens again, or if these things come up in the sky. I'm sure there will be, especially with the square with Neptune and Saturn and Pisces. I'm sure something will be tracing over these steps. So definitely keep an eye out. Okay, with that out of the way, the first question I have for you is what adventure is calling to you right now? We have the Seven of Swords. One of my first impressions is that you have to move through this pretty sneaky, in the sense you can't be telling everybody what you're up to because of many things. You know, there's evil eye, there's doubt, there's just advice or words that you don't need. They're not yours. So I would just be very careful with who you speak your intentions to and who you speak your dreams and your wants to, because you don't want their negativity to impact you and your adventure. But I also see this as leaving either the home or community, because the tent here, tents typically are just temporary housing or temporary settlements, but you need to move away from that, from something temporary, and go off on your own adventure to maybe find your own temporary place. You don't have to worry about what this community's got, because it clearly seems like this person, this figure, you, is ready to leave. It's just there's something holding you back here, and maybe it's just expectations about what the community thinks, and maybe some responsibilities there. Next up, we have what boundaries or fears must you release to begin? We have the Ten of Pentacles. So this is definitely generational stuff. I guess going back to that community, right? Generational inputs. And maybe this is just generational fear. It's like you're the first one in your family who's gone off, out of the nest or done something out of the norm. And you probably feel these fears and the scariness that comes with leaving the pack. But at the end of the day, your ancestral, your familial ties, and the things that were put upon you, either epigenetically, like with trauma or lack mindset, or through judgment, I think it's saying that you got to get rid of that stuff, because if you're too worried about what your family has to say about your own life, then you're going to forever live your life for them and not live it for yourself. So you're being invited to set some boundaries around family and whether or not you will follow the same path as them or grow out and branch out on your own. What aligned step will ignite your path? We've got the Page of Swords. So it's really embracing it, right? Letting that wind take you and speaking up for yourself. I just heard really not letting, again, other stuff from other people dictate you, and you have to speak your truth. Speak up about it. Learn to wield your own sword instead of carrying the swords that everybody else has had. You're unique, your path is unique, and to really embrace it, you gotta pick up your own sword. Learn. It's never too late to learn. And I asked for any advice for having faith while moving through this uncertainty. Any advice for moving through branching out on your own with the uncertainty of stability and what family may think. Ooh, we've got the High Priestess. One of the first things is, to firstly consult someone if there's a therapist, or if you would like intuitive tarot readings or any other modality. I think it's saying to reach out to someone who can help you and give you the advice that you need. But I also got drawn to her crown chakra and the crown covering it. And I think that really speaks volumes with a sword here, too. You really got to protect your own mind from doubts and from other input from other people. So, protecting that crown, there's so many ways you can do it. One of them is covering your head, like veiling, I think it's called, or just set intentions around that, too. But ultimately, the High Priestess says, yes, there are mysteries to be uncovered, and yes, it's uncertain, but you have to have that faith and that trust that there's something better behind the veil. and that you can figure it out. You're not dependent. You can be sovereign in this. Ultimately, you create your own path. The high priestess didn't get here because she followed everybody else. She was able to forge her own way and really set into herself and not believe any naysayers. Also, you have it within yourself. The knowledge, the freedom, the intuition, all of that is housed within you. And so, if there are any uncertainties, really trust your gut, your intuition, your heart. What is actually guiding you when you leave out the noise of everything? Listen to the messages that are being sent to you. Really take time to cultivate that intuition. If you just take a moment to pause and hear. Oh, one of the things I was just guided to share was, I don't know, where did I see this? I think it was in, I don't know, but I have my own card that I wrote it down on. But it's when you're feeling stuck or limited, resist the urge to problem solve immediately. Look up at the sky or window and ask, what possibilities am I not seeing here? There's always a bigger picture waiting to be discovered. So that moment of pause, I guess, and just asking for guidance, asking for help. Okay, so with the oracle cards here, I asked for just additional input onto the story line here. And we've got reincarnation and discovery, number 32. So reincarnation draws me back to one of the lines in the Ritual Workbook. It was saying something about how this new moon is not just a passive reset, it's a spiritual ignition. It's literally reincarnation. And with, the new year coming, it's this time to really reincarnate and choose to do something different and not follow the herd like everybody else. Reincarnate into a different version of yourself. And discovery, what the hell did I just say? I just said that there's always a bigger picture waiting to be discovered. So that can be discovering about yourself. Maybe there is some knowledge that will come to you and you can use that to fuel your drive for this adventure and this new you, essentially. And lastly, I did want to leave you off with some good fortunes and just things coming your way so that you can, feel better about it. Maybe keep a hold on these messages, look out for messages and synchronicities that align with this. We've got your dreams hold the key to your future, pay attention, and your creative energies are in full bloom, express yourself. Which definitely both coincide with the Sagittarian energy happening here. Your creative energies are in full bloom, express yourself. Sagittarius is very fiery, very passionate, and I would argue very creative, or at least can tap into that. So maybe there's a creative outlet you can do that you can discover that'll lead you on this path of reincarnation and really living your own life. Your dreams hold the key to your future. Pay attention. High priestess energy here. So advice for this, maybe they're in your dreams. Do some dream prompts before bed. It can be as simple as asking for guidance on working through this uncertainty and see what your dreams are that night. It definitely helps to have a dreaming practice. Every morning I wake up, first thing I do is write out my dreams from the night, type them out. And, sometimes that takes a minute, but I do it as best as I can. And hopefully I can understand those messages. And if not, because dreams are so complex, is to say the least, they speak to us very differently. It's our own subconscious language. So we have to really discover ourselves and discover our subconscious language to then understand the nuances in our dreams. Either way, pay attention to your dreams. I feel like this message has come out before, so maybe it's just reiterating this. Awesome, collective. Well, with that being said, this is my reading for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this has brought you clarity for your new moon in Sagittarius. Definitely let me know what house it is in for you down below, and see if you can track any synchronicities or any things happening within that sector. Thank you again for being here, and I can't wait to read for you again next time.